But Arsenal started like a house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era. It's Judgment Day, people. Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. Don't believe in any luck, I believe I'm self-made, yeah. Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. And we're going to be chatting many things today. The current state of play ahead of Leeds United's massive game against Crystal Palace. And obviously a top-of-the-table clash as well for Mr. Dan Potts. Arsenal fame. City have spanked Southampton 4-1, Erling Haaland cooking again. So Arsenal have it all to do at Anfield tomorrow. We will be chatting about that as well. And of course, it's the return of your favourite Leicester fan, folks. It is, of course, Lachlan, Lox, as he is known. Of course, I had to bring him back in because me and him have back and forths all the time on our group chat. You would not believe what goes on between me and Lox. So the fact that Jesse is riding in on his on his horse and that, going yee-haw, and he's going to save Leicester from what looks like a bit of a perilous position at this moment in time after another defeat today. It's not. You said this in the group chat earlier on, Lox, didn't you? This
big man thing, yeah, bruv. It's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good.
It's definitely not looking good for Lox, to be fair. Look, folks, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and, of course, hit that notification bell. Make sure you go and follow the 12 Man podcast as well. I know a few of you, I put the link in the chat and you jumped on over. I know you've been watching that, so make sure you show some love over there as well. And then we're going to talk about Lampard, of course, my favourite manager. Everyone knows I love this guy back from the Championship days, so, of course, we're going to be talking about the return. Well, arguably, the return of the 2 worst managers the Premier League's ever seen in Jesse Marsch and Frank Lampard. There we go. Lox, I'm going to come at you first, mate, because you look like you're sick of your life, mate. Just talk to me and tell me what's the general feeling at Leicester at the minute, what's going to happen, and then I want to know your thoughts on your new manager.
Well, it's pretty simple. We're getting relegated. I think I would probably say now after today, especially 80% of the fan base, obviously I'm talking about social media here, 80% in agreement that we all think we're going down. I mean, I remember, Joe, like back in September or October, the last time I was on your channel, and I said, if Rodgers isn't gone by the World Cup, we're going down. And maybe that was a bit too hasty there, like there was still obviously loads of games left, and we went on that run, of course, before the World Cup, so he was unsackable during the World Cup because we won like 4 games, and then January comes along, we trust him to spend a bit of money. Obviously didn't have any money in the summer, so we trusted him in January. I think he spent something like 35 million or something like that, which isn't a lot, I know, in the Premier League nowadays. And then, it was just, I think we went on 2 4-game losing streaks. I think we won, we beat Villa, we beat Spurs, and I was like, we're back, baby. Joe, I was in the group chat saying, we're back, we're back.
I'm coming at you with that. You know I am, bro, because I've got something for you.
I don't tell me you got receipts for it.
No.
But I think every fan from every team in the league could look at Leicester and say, he definitely deserved the sack. The results that we had, and we weren't picking up enough points. There's that argument that he wasn't backed in the summer, which he was kind of backed in the winter. He got the players he wanted, and bear in mind the £100 million we spent the summer before. They were all Rodgers signings. So, Samari in midfield, who looked really good at the start, it's come out that Rodgers didn't want anything to do with him by the time he left. And again, that was his sign-in. Vestergaard, 18 million, that was his sign-in. So, I think he deserved to sack. Every Leicester, I think by the time he was sacked, near on every Leicester fan wanted him gone. But the one thing we didn't really expect was Jesse Marsch's name to be thrown in the ring. I think, Rodgers was obviously sacked on the Sunday, and then the Monday Potter was sacked, and Leicester fans are getting a little bit excited, me included.
Oh, yourself included, son. Don't forget.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. Yeah, of course. Because, we were calling, just before Potter went to Chelsea, we were calling, like, sack Rodgers now, get Potter in. So, if we stayed up, and this Jesse Marsch, wasn't a permanent deal, I think we probably would go back in for Potter in the summer. Apparently, he was the Leicester board's number one choice, which makes you think, Joe, did the board hear something about Potter getting sacked, and that's why they acted at the time they did on Rodgers? But yeah, mate, it's going from worst to worst every match. Today was the worst one of the season, in my opinion. The first half, it was the worst half of football I've seen of Leicester since probably like 2012, 2011, something like that. Under King Power, it was just disgraceful, mate. It was shocking. The team selection and the setup was like Rodgers was still in charge. It was the same on Tuesday night. These are the interim managers, Mike Stowell and Adam Sadler. They've been at the club for like 10 plus years, 10, 15 years. But it was just pure Brendan ball today and Tuesday. And, we'll get on to Marsch, but before Rodgers was sacked, we were, people saying, who do you replace him with? And we all said, anyone, just replace him with anyone. And I still stand by it. And that's the only reason why I'm not getting down about Jesse Marsch, because I think all the players need just to give him that extra 10% even is maybe just a new voice, a new energy about them. We'll play football different. We'll play football different to how Rodgers, that we did under Rodgers. So.
Sorry, Dan, I had you muted, mate. What were you saying?
Oh, mate, I don't know if it's my mute or you. I said you might as well have kept Rodgers, man. Honestly, Jesse Marsch, you're going down, bro. If you get this guy, I'm telling you now, bro, you are gonna go down. Listen, Rodgers, he took you as far as you could go, blah blah blah. But there's some managers out there available at the moment. To go for him, I was like, what? Like Rafa, for me, everyone says washed up. I think he keeps you up.
I do as well, but I think he's turned us down. Apparently, we approached him. Apparently, we have had talks with him, and so we haven't heard anything since then. So I don't know if. And fair play. I'm not gonna kind of slate any managers for saying, well, hold on, you've got 9 games left and you're 19th. I don't really want to take. I don't blame them, mate. I honestly don't. Which is why it was so important, in my opinion, that if we were going to get rid of Rodgers, we had to do it earlier, before we dropped to the bottom 3, when we had more games. But they didn't, and the timing of it's just atrocious. And the fact that it's now been nearly a week and we still haven't got anyone. You'd think that if they left it that late, we would have had someone lined up ahead of sacking Rodgers. But Jesse Marsch seems like he's probably the 4th or 5th manager on the list. I think Potter was obviously the first, but Benitez was in there. Apparently, Ralph Hasenhüttl was in there as well. So
I'd back Ralph over. I would back Ralph over Jesse. I can't lie to you, but do you know what it smells of though as well? A little bit like Leeds in the sense, Locks, that basically we gave it Scabala. We sacked Jesse and then went, right, we'll give it our coach. We gave him the 2 Man United games. He wasn't expecting anything. We get a point in one and get beat in the other. And then he went and played Everton. I genuinely believe, had he have beat Everton that day, that have kept him in situ, that have rather waited to the summer and got someone in. And I think Leicester are probably thinking the same. Now, with the defeat to Bournemouth, you're looking at it saying, no, we need to speed this up. We need someone who's going to give us something, I think. But you also had the midweek game as well, didn't you, where you lost? So, again, that might, force them into a decision. Yeah, it's funny, bro, because I'm gonna have to do this to you, man, because don't forget, Locks. Spence said, if I remember rightly on our Premier League prediction, you did predict Leeds United to go down. Do you remember that, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I weren't far wrong. You are down there. You're down there, but you're not down there with us. You know what I mean? You're a bit higher.
No, and I did say I was watching it back today that Leicester would be the flop of the season. Yeah. And you agreed with me, to be fair. You agreed. Okay, I did say bottom half, and people were like, oh, really? But I didn't think it'd be as bad as this. But you could tell it had gone a little bit stale, and there wasn't really much backing at the time. We were talking about Fofana leaving, we were talking about Maddison leaving, Schmeichel had just left, so it wasn't looking good at Leicester, and obviously it's proved to be the case. Tell me your thoughts on Jesse. I one thing I will say, if the mood needs uplifting, he will uplift it, right? But right,
That is being kind. Joe's
No,
being
no,
really
no,
kind.
no, no,
He's
because-
saying it through gritted teeth. Look, you know what I'm saying,
No.
this is what makes me laugh.
This is the kicker though. It'll only work for so long because every single player, genuinely, I say no lies. Every single player that he's played with is the best player. Every single player has got the best mentality. And of course, initially, if you're being told you're the best thing since sliced bread, you buy it. But eventually, it's like, well, hang on a minute. You said that about Dan Potts last week, and now you're saying it about me. And now you're saying it about Locke. So is it really real what you're saying? You know, I remember after, I forget which game it was, and he had, you know, posters of Gandhi up in the dressing room and all this sort of stuff, which for me, we're not at college football. We're not at uni ball. This is the Premier League. And I'm not too sure that, you know, someone of the quality of, say, James Maddison's looking at a picture of Gandhi and all of a sudden going, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go win this game of football now." But that's the type of manager he is, and it just doesn't wash for me. And I think as well, his tactics are pretty brutal. Locks. It's all narrow. I look at Harvey Barnes. He's one of your better players. He's a wide man. I don't think James Maddison's going to be able to create as much in such a congested, tight area of the pitch. Just tell me what's the general consensus? I bet people have seen video clips of him, much like we did, of him speaking really well, going, "Oh, this guy knows his stuff," and it doesn't wash after one or two games, I don't think.
No, most Leicester fans are fuming
not happy
with it. Yeah, they're not happy at all. And the ones that are happy are getting comments from Leeds.
Are American? Are the American by any
No, they're
chance
not.
the
They're
ones
not.
that are
No,
happy?
no, they're not. To be fair, but a lot of Leeds fans I've seen today, obviously, you know, letting us know the ins and outs, really. Like I said, mate. I mean, so the rumor is, and I believe it, from the source it's come from, it's going to be 3 years a contract plus the rest of this season.
Am I right in saying he's going to stay if you go down? Is that the general?
Yeah. Apparently, that's and you know, it's weird. So either he or the board have probably admitted that we're going down because
He said that about us, though, bro. I think it's a mentality thing. He said to us, "If we go down, I'll stay with you." When he came in, so
because is it true he actually turned down Southampton because they only wanted to offer him a short term? That's what I've heard
short
today.
term. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, only 18 months or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, look, I'm okay with it. Like I said, because unlike other Leicester fans, when I said anyone but Rodgers, I meant it because I just felt like, you know, it is so stale in there. They need a new voice. And in the past, you know, caretaker manager has worked for Leicester. When Ranieri got sacked, Shakespeare, the assistant manager, came in and completely turned the fortunes around. We won like 4 of the last 8 games or something silly like that. But it's not working. We need someone new. And if Jesse Marsch is all we can get, then I'm fine with it. So yeah, man, I know what you're saying. Obviously, about, you know, he'll lift the mood for now. I think that's all we need. By the way, I don't think we're staying up. I think we're going down. Marsch, Benitez, Pep Guardiola. I think we're going down. I think we've left it too late. But there's a fighting chance. There's the smallest of chances. Getting a new manager in, there's a smallest of chances.
Do you not think with like Dan mentioned earlier, do you not think that a Rafa would have kept you? I think you've got a good enough team there, bro.
No, that's what I'm saying though. I would have taken Rafa, but I think he's turned us down. I honestly think Marsch is the next best we can get after obviously sacking. I honestly can't. You know, we heard that they approached or they, you know, started talks with Benitez, and obviously that went so quiet. There was someone called Adi Hutler. I've never heard of him. I don't know if either of you have.
No.
From Europe, but it looks like that's all we could get, mate. It looks like we've just been lumped with Marsch, and I think, you know, a part of me is thinking we've just got to get behind him. You know, we can't just shut him down. We can't do that. It's not fair. First of all, I get all the feedback that, you know, you Leeds fans are giving us, but it's not fair to just shut him down because you never know. You never know what he could do. We all shut down Claudio Ranieri. That season, that summer that Claudio Ranieri came in, a lot of Leicester fans weren't happy with that appointment. Even Gary Lineker famously tweeted saying something like, "Really, Claudio Ranieri?" And look what that turned out to be. So I'm not saying we can win the Premier League, don't worry. But I'm saying you just don't know how things turn out in football. weirder
Yeah.
things have happened than Jesse Marsh keeping us up in the league.
Yeah.
Does it not worry you though, Locks, that like you've gone for him? Because for me, like Bielsa, Vieira, Rafa, Nuno, there's a lot of managers out there that I think probably on paper would have done a better job in terms of being a little bit more proven than what Jesse Marsh did at Leeds. Now, listen, it might turn out great for you. It might be that it just weren't working at Leeds for X, Y, Z reasons, but I just feel like it's a massive risk with 9 games to go. To go for him, it's like, wow, it didn't work out at Leeds and they were in a similar position to what you are in now.
Yeah.
I just think it's a huge risk, man. And I think that you could be in trouble. I've never put Leicester to go down because I think your squad's way too good. But I'm starting to wonder what's going on at the club now, man. In terms of the ownership, I was worried about the summer lack of transfers. January, you tried to get a couple in, hasn't really worked. I mean, some of them have come in and done okay. Christensen, I think, looks decent.
Yep.
Suter, I think, is a decent centre half once you get him in partnered. But for me, I don't know, man. I'm worried. And the James Maddison interview worries me today, man. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, the
It was
club
bad,
is,
that, wasn't it? It was bad, man.
yeah, and I don't, obviously I told you, Joe. I don't know if you saw Dan. He's deactivated his Twitter now. In the last couple hours. There's also I don't know if it's true, but a few comments been made online today that he actually swore at a couple fans as well during the game, who were giving him a bit of stick, and you don't normally
can't
come
do
back.
that, man.
Yeah, I know. You can't.
I
come
love
back
him.
from that
I
unless
love
you're
him.
Shaka.
Joe
Unless
knows
you're
I love him.
Shaka.
Unless you can listen, you can tell them to F off, take your shirt off, throw the armband on the bad, and then all of a sudden you get put it back on your shoulder and you go and win the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's
but
like
no,
that
seriously, you can't do that, man. It's bad.
No, I
isn't
mean
it?
it's like that old saying, like, what is it? You either die a hero or what is it?
No, you either live a hero or stay long enough to be a villain or whatever.
One of the
isn't
two. Yeah, one of that. Something like that.
Yeah.
And that's it. Maddison by far has been our best player this year. There's no doubt in that. He's been
class, man. Class.
prior to the
But
World
since
Cup.
the World Cup, though, it's been bad, hasn't it? I know he was injured for a bit, but even I was like, yo, he's getting me in my fantasy team for these runner fixtures, and he's just been brutal.
He stunk the house out a bit in the last couple of games.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's harsh for everyone to lump on him just because of a mistake that he did today. I don't know if you saw it; it was shocking. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's starting to rot. It's starting to smell. It has been for the last few months, and there's been going ons as well. Like the club have employed a company to go through social media and start banning fans that are criticizing the club online. There's a big divide at the minute between the club and the fans, not just because of the performances, just because of the way it's being run. And this is a club that I think, 18 months ago, 2 years ago, they did a poll, Sky Sports, I think, with who is most happy with their owners, and Leicester were at the very top. Yeah. And obviously everyone spoke in the last few years about, how Leicester's been run so well, but it's fallen apart, mate. And whether that's, kind of stems back to the owner, obviously, who died, and obviously maybe the son can't handle it. I don't want to be too harsh on it, but it's just kind of we're in free fall now. We're in free fall, and I don't see us staying up. No chance.
No, I do want to. Well, Jesse's probably going to come in Sunday, I think, isn't it? Sunday, Monday.
Tomorrow, apparently tomorrow it's going to be announced. Yep.
Tomorrow it'll be announced, and then I'm just looking at your fixtures. Obviously, the first game that he'll play is Man City.
Right off, yeah.
Yes, right off. I mean, we played well against Man City in one of the games, and he came out on the pitch and was fist pumping, and we've been beaten, Locks.
Yeah,
and it were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't think he quite understands it. It's listen. Some of the. I really, really dislike him as well. Like, I can't lie to you, but some of the things. So Ben says, who do you think will win the long throw contest? Well, obviously, Rafinha, our best player, was put on long throws because he won a competition in training. Okay. That's one of the things. Yeah. Jamie Vardy, right wing back. Rafinha, again, our best player, was also played at right wing back. Graham Noble mentions Netflix. Well, one of the things that came out, he gave them homework to watch the Redeem Team on Netflix in preparation for a game. I mean, this is the Premier League. I just think it's a totally different.
It really is Ted Lasso, isn't it? Like it is. It really is Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Like.
One of the things he said, right? One of the goals that we continuously conceded, right, was a chip to the back post every time because the pitch was so narrow. So if you were over on the right-hand flank, everyone would move over. Then there would be so much space. Harvey Barnes scored, if you remember, against us because he had so much space. And he genuinely came out and said that the chip to the back post was only something that happened in England. And it's like, what? Are you being for real here now? So, yeah, I'm sorry to say it, but I think he takes you down. And I know a lot will say, but he kept Leeds up. I think there were a lot of different factors to that. I mean, Rafinha pulled us through. Obviously, Newcastle beat Burnley on the final day. Nathan Collins handballing. There was a lot of different things. So, listen, I can't. That's unfair for me though to say that he didn't have any hand in it because he clearly did. But yeah,
the thing is as well, obviously, with Rodgers being sacked, you know, now we can't say for 100% certainty we were going down under Rodgers. I believe we were, and a lot of fans do. Nothing changed. Things were only getting worse. So, you know, you can't say for sure, but I felt, and a lot of fans felt, he was taking us down. So there was only one thing to do, and that is just to roll the dice and get somebody in to see if they can keep us up. And I mean, I think 3 wins keeps us up, but I just can't see us getting 3 wins. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we finished 20th, and that's saying something because Southampton are shite. Really
well,
bad,
let's have a look at your fixtures.
And the last game of the season's an interesting one, Joe. West Ham.
Yes.
You know, if we somehow stayed up until then, and that was the decider.
Yeah.
You've seen Leicester those 2 seasons. We finished 5th, where we had to win on the last day to get top 4, and we bottled it. We ain't got the bottle to go to the last day and have to win to stay in a division.
Do you know what though, Potsy? Looking at their fixtures, there saying you only need 3 wins. If he does come in and gets a ban, it is conceivable they could beat Wolves at home, they could beat Leeds away, they could beat Everton at home, even Fulham. We were talking to Emilio on your show; they're not going great. And then even West Ham at home, there is a chance, isn't there? They're not done, are they?
Listen, Man City, they're just different animal. I don't even want to talk about them. It's mad. But Wolves, I mean, at home, I'd fancy your chances. The Wolves are a very defensive side. They'll try and make it 1-0 if they can. Yeah. Leeds Leicester is going to be a good game. Hard at Ellen Road, but, you know, flip of a coin. But I would probably go with Leeds the way that Leicester's form's at the moment. I think you beat Everton at home. They're terrible, by the way. Absolutely terrible. Fulham away is difficult, but look at their form at the moment. It's poor. It might pick up by then. They'll have Mitrovic back. Liverpool, don't even write that one off. Don't even write that one off. They're a shambles at times. Newcastle at St. James's is a ridiculously hard game, but you've got to beat West Ham at home, man. The West Ham are so bad. It's embarrassing. It's actually embarrassing.
It's the mentality.
I don't think that's a bad run of fixtures, you know.
No, it's not. It's not really.
You look at Forest. I think Forest is a lot worse. They're in big trouble. But
they're in serious trouble, mate.
Are you looking forward to that one then, Joe? Leicester Leeds on with Marsh in the dugout. What's he going to be like? How's he going to be received?
Do you know what it is, right? I, as people know, I've got a season ticket, and this season I made the decision to stay at home to do my watch-alongs to try and grow my channel, because obviously the dream is to do this full-time. We get that, right? Yeah. And I've just renewed for next season as well, right? Because I don't want to give it up because my son's on the waiting list, and I eventually want to take him when he gets it. So I've genuinely thought about it and said, I might just miss that watch along just to be there for when Jesse returns so I can be in the crowd, mate. Like but then
Joe, if you lose, bro, mate, like to say you're in the mud is an understatement, bro. Like, listen, like if you lose and you say, Jesse, and they beat you, can you imagine?
Oh, mate, it'd be bad, because one thing that I want to say to Locks as well, like, and this is no... don't get it twisted, this isn't anything against Americans, but there is a big following on Twitter of USA men's national team accounts, and trust and believe, if you say anything bad about Jesse, they will come for you in their droves, believe me. So just be prepared for that as well. Like my good friend Danny says here, prepare for the delusion of the USA men's national team accounts. There's one out there already who's a Leicester fan, I think, saying, look, it wasn't Jesse, Leeds had a poor squad, etc. So yeah,
I saw that one.
Yeah, did you see it? Yeah. Madness. Yeah. Listen, folks, we've got 633 people here watching, which is absolutely amazing. I'm just going to quickly put Potsy's channel in the description and Lox's Twitter as well. So when you get a second, please do go on over and follow them 2 accounts and make sure you like this video. We've had a couple of super chats come in as well. Paul says, hi, great to see you. Massive game for you tomorrow. There is a chance to develop a nice cushion between you and the bottom 3. Obviously, we play Crystal Palace. Such a massive game when you think today's fixtures. Obviously, Wolves beat Chelsea. Bournemouth beat Leicester. West Ham got a win against Fulham as well. So it's all change at the bottom of the table once again. I'm just going to share the league table, and then I want to get yours 2 thoughts on Palace Leeds. This is where the current land lies in the bottom half. Wolves now in 12th. West Ham 13th, Palace 14th, Bournemouth 15th, and Leeds obviously in 16th with 16th, with Everton below us. And then the bottom 3, who I think actually might end up being the bottom 3, is Nottingham Forest, Leicester, and Southampton. Obviously, if Crystal Palace and Leeds, either of them 2 teams, get a win tomorrow with only 8 games left, it puts them in a really good position. It puts Leeds on 32, and obviously Palace would go back up to 12th with 33. Potts, how do you see the game going tomorrow? Who do you fancy?
I fancy you, man. I can't lie. I fancy Leeds as well. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I fancy Leeds. I think you'll do it, man. I really do. I think the Ellen Road crowd will have you going, and I think you'll do it. The thing is with Palace, what's mad is that actually they have some really good players, and they're really dangerous in time. But I feel like their number 9 position is massively lacking. Like if it's not Mateta or Ayew or Edouard, then who is it actually going to be? You know, because they're relying so much on Zaha, Eze, and Elise. I just think with Leeds at the moment, they're a team that I think will have the better of them at home. And do you know what? It's mad because you played us last time, and the first half hour, I actually thought, wow, this is a good side. Like, you know, Somerville was unplayable in parts of the game, and I really felt like going forward, you had some really good opportunities, but I think we just outshone you. I'm not so sure that Palace will outshine you, and I do fancy you. I must say. I think that the problem with Palace and with what Leeds have got to look out for is that Palace have got that one moment in the game that they can win the game, and they have got players that do that for them. You know, we saw it at Manchester United not long ago. Elise, last kick of the game, boom, it's in, free kick. Zaha can do that against teams, so can Eze. So I think as long as Leeds play their game, and I've been quite impressed with Javi Gracia, I've got to say, you know, when he appointed him, I thought, really? Like, is he going to keep them up? But he shut me up, man. He's been really good. And I think he's got the right balance in the side at Leeds. I think he's got a good defensive mind, but also he can have some attacking play as well. But injury news, I don't know what it is, Joe. You'll be able to tell me more. That could be key, man. Nonto and all the other guys, they got to come back.
Yeah. I think there's only Voba that. Well, Adams is out long term, but you know, McKennie and Rocker were great against Forest. Voba's not quite back yet. Should be back for Liverpool next Monday, but Nonto will be on the bench, and he didn't play the other night. Didn't need him. Sinistera was absolutely phenomenal for the time that he played. Obviously scoring there as well, so that was good. Locks, who. If you are to get out of it, obviously, who do you see you need to pull in closer? Do you look at either side and say, do you know what, Palace will definitely be safe, or Leeds definitely safe? Who do you think you would have more chance of catching, do you think?
I mean, seeing Palace against us last week, I know we're terrible, but I don't know, they've just got something in them, I think they'll have enough, you know, when they need to dig deep. I mean, I know Zaha's out tomorrow, I saw, but Eze's quality, Elise fit,
Guaita's out though, the goalkeeper, which is a big miss. That's a big miss for them.
Yeah, but I don't know if you saw, they got 31 shots on target.
I've seen it, bro. So
they've definitely got something there. But I still see you winning. I was going to say, unfortunately, that's not very nice for me to say, but I still see you winning. And that puts you up cushy, mate. You know, you'll be up in 12th, 30. What would you be on? 30, 32 points. So. There's definitely a gap forming, for sure. Maybe not Forest. I know they're level with Everton, but Leicester and Southampton, there's a gap forming there. So, again, you know, I said 3 wins would be enough for Leicester. So, this and 1 more win for Leeds, you know, might just be enough to keep you in the division, I think. So, but yeah, I would say probably I would go for you to win tomorrow.
Oh, nice. I like that, mate. I like that. I look. Listen, I'm confident. I've been saying that all week. I did think after the Arsenal one, I said, listen, I'm relaxed about it. I wasn't expecting anything against Arsenal, but I expect 6 points from the next two. We've got 3, and I do think at home, Grazia's got us playing really well. Like I say, we beat Southampton there, beat Forest there, and also got a point against a very good Brighton side. So. It's good. Let's just, before we touch on Lampard, I just want to look at the opposite end of the table and come to you, Potsy. Obviously, people say I'm a secret Arsenal fan on the sly, but I do like watching Arsenal. I've always liked Arsenal. I just think for me, growing up, it was when they came in and really challenged Man United, and I couldn't stand Man United, I couldn't stand Ferguson. So when Wenger came and really switched it up, and when you brought in all them French players, Pires and Henry, and then I liked Ljungberg, Bergkamp, etc. I do really like Arsenal. So it's nice to see that you're probably going to win the league, bro. I'll go as far as to say it. But obviously, massive game tomorrow. You don't do well at Anfield, do you? How are you feeling ahead of that?
Yeah, I'm nervous, mate. I can't lie to you. I can't sit on here and feed you BS. I'm nervous because there's not long to go, and I never thought it'd be in this position, bro. I can't lie to you. I had us down for top 4. I didn't have us down for a title. I had doubts over Mikel Arteta and the Cronkies and the process and all that, because when I see Arsenal in 8th, 8th and 5th, I'm not a happy boy. I can't lie to you. That's not where Arsenal should be, in my opinion. 5th I can take for a year because we had it under Arsene Wenger, but that's what got him sacked. Let's remember. So when a manager's coming 8th, 8th and 5th, I've got problems. But wow, he has shut me up and a lot of people up. Do you know what's mad, Joe, as well? The people that actually rated Mikel Arteta have been shut up as well, because they never had him in a title race. They had him in a top 4 challenge. So it's mad. And I go into this game and I should be confident. I think man by man, we're the better side. I think the way they're playing, the way we're playing, we should be able to smoke these guys, but it's not going to happen because it's at Anfield and they're a different kettle of fish. They've smashed Man United by 7. They seem to turn it on at Anfield whenever they want to. And I'm not massively confident going into this game. I'm quietly confident. And I do think when my head speaks about what I've seen, I always go by the eye test. I never go by anything else because your eyes don't lie to you, right? I look at what Arsenal are right now and I understand that football can change. But I look at it and I think Martinelli should absolutely roast Trent Alexander-Arnold. He should. Yeah. Saka should cause Simicast or Robertson problems. Jesus should be unplayable for Van Dijk. We should dominate the midfield with Partey, Xhaka and Ødegaard because their midfield has been woeful all season. Whether it's Fabinho, Bajcetic, Harvey Elliott, Thiago if he's back, Henderson, Milner, it doesn't matter. We should have the better of the midfield. And I do think that defensively away from home, we've managed to keep some clean sheets. And it was interesting yesterday in Mikel Arteta's press conference saying one of our players is back and he should be okay. Now, that is going to be Saliba. There's nobody else to call on it. Eddie Nketiah or El Neni are the only other 2 players that are injured. He would have just said Eddie might play or El Neni might be back. When they said, oh, who is it? He said, I'm not going to tell you. It's Saliba. It's not going to be. He's not going to hide that Eddie Nketiah might be fit or that El Neni might make a comeback. He's hiding that Saliba might probably start tomorrow. So it's an interesting press conference. I do worry because I know that Salah can turn it on any moment. I know Jota has caused us absolute nightmares. And I know that Darwin Núñez is actually quite an underrated player. A lot of people slate him and think he's funny. Actually, he scored quite a few goals and he's caused quite a few problems. So they can cause issues, mate. And the Anfield crowd will do it. But I do believe that we've overcome most tests this season. We've had a difference in mentality. There seems to be a different Arsenal this season. And it's mad me going into this thinking that they wouldn't get many of their players into our 1-11 right now. It's mad. You might look in the last 5 years and think, maybe Saka might get a place and we're struggling other than that. Now it's like maybe Alisson and Ramsdale, there's a debate and Salah might be a debate and there's a couple of positions. But other than that, I truly believe and quite confidently believe that Arsenal have got the better 11. So I do feel that we can go into this game with confidence. This will be a massive test, Joe. If we want to go all the way, this is a massive test for me. This is huge. And if we can come away with 3 points, I think a lot of the neutrals will look and go, okay, I fancy him now. I really do. I think they might do it. So let's see what happens, man. It's a big game.
Big game. Looking forward to it. So yeah, definitely one that I think a lot of eyes will be on it. Locks, what are your thoughts? Because I know you've had a bit of a checkered relationship with Arsenal fans just due to the old Maddison chat when you were challenging at the top. But Arteta's really turned it round, and it's impressive what's happened there, man.
Yeah, I don't think I've still got Egal blocked. Actually, I think he is unblocked. But I definitely don't follow him. That's for sure. But no, yeah, that's what it swings and roundabouts in football, isn't it? I mean, I was giving Arsenal fans so much, shit 2 years ago or whenever it was when Leicester were in the top 4. So, I think what's helped Arsenal as well this year is that there is always that. Oh, it's Arsenal. They'll bottle it at some point, and even now I'm like, well, surely not. Surely they're not going to win the league. Surely they're going to, make a mistake along the line, and City are going to go and, win every game of the rest of the season and whatever. But, it's hard not to believe now that they're going to do it. They're just such a great team to watch. They have been all year. And obviously Jesus is back now as well, isn't he? He played well in his first game back, didn't he? Yeah, I get what you're saying about Liverpool do seem to just turn up when they fancy it and put on a show like they did against United, but I think Arsenal have too much, to be honest. So yeah, I was going to say, I think I said to an Arsenal friend of mine earlier on 2-1, so I'll stick with that, and I think Arsenal will win.
They're going to win the league, Locks.
Yeah, I think so. Then I will block Egal again for sure. But yeah, I think.
I love Egal. Sometimes I even worry about blocking Egal sometimes. So
yeah, he's a crazy guy.
I love him. I love him, but my God,
I'll tell you what. On a tangent here, Joe, my favorite Egal moment of all time was on your channel. Do you remember when he said? I swear he said this. I'm sure I'll have to go back and find it. But he said David Luiz was the best centre back in Europe at one point. I think it was the season he left. It wasn't even a great season, and he came out and said David Luiz was the best centre back in Europe. So that was my favourite Egal moment, I think. But,
he's class. I love.
Need what he's smoking, man. Need what he's smoking.
Yeah. What I will say though, which really did surprise me, I seen a YouTube short the other day of Bukayo Saka. And he was asked which player helped him the most when he came into the first team, and he did say David Luiz. To be fair,
they all do. Yeah, and it's nothing to do with his ability; it's all to do with his mentality.
Yeah, of course.
Smith Rowe said the same. Kieran Tierney said the same. He did a podcast, and he said we will win something this year. And Kieran Tierney was like, "You crazy man, we're miles behind." And they won the FA Cup. And he said, "Told you." That's what he's like. His mentality wise, he's fine, but. Yeah, man, I wasn't a big fan of him. I can't lie. I can't deal with loose cannons. We've had too many of them over the years.
Yeah, definitely. We've had a couple of super chat. Christopher says, it's official, the Foxes are fuxed. Sorry, Joe, I had to. Colin Kerwin says, Jesse would be a disaster for them. Rafinha kept us up. Hope the lads stay up. Good team. Hope we smash them at Ellen Road all the same, though. Stick 9 goals down on Jesse's record. Listen, nothing would... please me more than to see Javi Gracia school Jesse Marsh and us beat Leicester. But time will tell. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun for sure. Let's just finish up with some Frank Lampard chat, because people who watch me regularly, I cannot stand this man. This goes all the way back to when Derby beat us in the playoff semi, and one of them took a dump in the middle of our away changing room. So I'm sore from that. And the fact that he then went on to somehow get the Chelsea job when all he did was take Derby from 6 to 6. He also then, got them top 4 under this transfer ban, even though they still managed to buy players like Kovacic, etc. Don't know how you get around that. He then took them backwards. He then was sacked. He then went to Everton and also took them backwards from where Rafa was at, by the way, just to put that out there. Kept them up all the same, but then was sacked again this season. I think he's one of the worst football managers going. I don't understand why he keeps getting these jobs. And today, obviously, I didn't want Wolves to win because Wolves are down there. But I was so torn when they scored, because I thought this is absolutely elite. Because you had people like Rory Jennings saying, "Oh, Lampard's back, we're going to win 5-0, or all this sort of stuff. And there's nothing that pleases me more to see Chelsea fans, in the mud, basically, because that's where they are. 11th in the table. Todd Bowley's just a madman. I actually heard on a podcast the other day, and I don't know if there's any truth to this, and the person who said it also said it, but they'd heard on the grapevine that Todd Bowley wasn't aware you had to re-qualify for the Champions League. I don't know if there's any validity to that. But even that's a mad one, innit? They've probably said we're not going to get Champions League, and he's gone, what? You mean we're not already in? I don't know. It's just a bit of a mad one. Potsy, what are your thoughts on Lampard being back? He will take them down. He will take them like.
Oh, I love it.
Lower. Do you know what I mean? Than where Potter left them, I think.
Can they get relegated?
I hope they give him another couple of years contract, man. This guy sucks. He is dreadful. Absolutely embarrassing manager. Couldn't get Derby up with Mason Mount and Tomori in the side. That's how bad it was. And then he comes to Chelsea and destroys them. Comes to Everton, destroys them. Come back to Chelsea to destroy them. I mean, they're going to finish in the bottom half now. That's a guarantee as far as I'm concerned. The owner is an absolute nutcase. He's just gone and thrown money. Like, we're going to go and get Mudryk. Who's that? Don't know. Arsenal want him. Just go get him. Apparently he's good. Okay, cool. Like, and he looks like Zach from Saved by the Bell. It's just embarrassing. Like, absolute shambles. Then you've got like the nonsense that's going on behind the scenes with the fans. That, let's be fair, are the most impatient fans I've ever met in my life. Because for the last 15 years, I've had 15 trophies with 15 managers. And I've always been a believer that it doesn't actually matter. As long as you've got a trophy, who cares? Do you know what I mean? But actually, when you look at it, they've gone the complete opposite to what they've always known and loved. And that is a project which they do not have the patience to do. We've already found out the patience of the fans. Get rid of Potter within 6 games. Todd Bowley, go on then. I'll agree with that. Right, who are we going to get in next? Frank Lampard, he's a legend of the club. Ever heard of him? No. Is he any good? Yeah, he's brilliant. Okay, we'll get him in then and see if he can save us. It's a shambles, and it's brilliant to see. They deserve this, Chelsea fans. I can't stand the club. I hate them. Can't stand them, as most of you will know. But I just think now they need to go and get a win now manager, and they do not have a win now side. So they have to go for a project manager now. They have to go for a Nagelsmann or a Pochettino or a Luis Enrique or one of those guys, because they cannot get a Conte, Mourinho, Ancelotti or Simeone in, because they can't win now with the side. It's a bit like when you look at Tottenham. Conte came in, he's a win now manager, and they're like, right, what players are you going to give me to win now? Emerson Royale, right, keep going. Who's next? Richarlison, no, keep going. Who's next? Okay, this Jed Spence, no, keep going. Who's next? They're not going to give him anything. So that was never going to work. And I feel the same now, because if you come and put a manager like Simeone or Mourinho or Conte, one of those guys in at Chelsea, will fail. So they have to go for somebody in the summer that they think is right. And it's an absolute shambles. I mean, it's actually quite embarrassing, if I'm honest. This is a side that everybody's looked up to in the last 15 years as like, wow, they're so lucky. They've got all the money. They can go and just buy Premier League trophies and buy Champions Leagues. This is a side that can still do that, by the way, that have proved to give somebody money who has no idea what he's doing. And he's just trying to throw it all around. It's like a monkey throwing a dart. Honestly, the guy is an absolute shambles. And long may it continue, man. It's nice not to worry about Chelsea, I tell you. I can't stand him.
Yeah, it is mad. It's genuinely mad. Like you said, the squad now, because of and it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the summer as well, because obviously they have to sell a load of players now. They have to sell a load of players. They have to get rid of Loftus-Cheek. They have to get rid of Gallagher. There's loads that have to go out from the football club now. He's got about 40 players, right? And then they'll still want to buy again as well. They'll want to improve. They'll want a number 9. You know what I mean? Lukaku maybe comes back. But then I watched a thing where Henry was saying he doesn't want to go back. He wants to stay at Inter. So they're going to have to now go out and get a number 9. And there's just going to be such churn at that football club. And the guy, he doesn't have a Scooby-Doo. He's obviously got deep pockets. But yeah, it's mad. I didn't even realise. I was watching the Big Six and they were talking about Todd Bowley sitting in Spaces. I didn't know that. I didn't know that he was actually sat in Twitter Spaces listening to what people had to say. Is it any wonder, Locks, on the back of that he's then gone to a club legend when he's sat in Spaces, obviously listening and probably taking things on board, what fans are saying, going, oh, yeah, that might work. Do you know what I mean?
It's so reckless. He's been, their first season at Chelsea's been so reckless. And I can't help but think they've kind of done this maybe to get some fans back on board. I don't know. I don't think anyone believes that Lampard's going to be there past the summer, right? Like he's not. Everyone.
But what they're clinging on to this notion that he's going to beat Real Madrid over a 2-leg tie. It's mental, man. It's mental.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get why
they're clinging on to the Di Matteo thing. Di Matteo won it. Why can't Lampard? Oh, wow, embarrassing.
I don't get it because, they're obviously. I'm sure they're still interviewing, other candidates for the summer, and why not just either stick with your They're not getting top 4. They're not getting relegated. Just stick with an your assistant, the caretaker, or just bring someone in now. Let them kind of get their hands on the squad for the last few games of the season, so they kind of better understanding of the squad come the summer. I just don't understand why they've gone for Lampard. It's the most pointless thing I've seen. It's just crazy. And the fact that he's gone back to them after getting, I know he's obviously it's his club, as he says, and all this, but I can't believe he's gone back to them just like that, click of the finger, come on Frank, mate, come back, get the fans on side. And he's not going to be there past the summer. I think everyone knows that. So it's just a bit
I'm actually looking forward to Real Madrid absolutely battering them over 2 legs, like Ancelotti just absolutely smoking them. Vinicius is flying at the minute as well, so I think it'll just be cut and dry. Madness. Listen, I think is it conceivable with 9-8 games left that we could see another manager sacked? Does anyone think? Because I know we've hit the record already. I think the only one now for me is Cooper. I think Moyes is probably going to stay.
I think Cooper, even though they backed him a couple of days ago, I think he could still go if he loses the next game. He could go tonight. He could go tomorrow. Yeah. But it wouldn't surprise me with their owners just as reckless. Clearly. So.
I think he's already had like 4 managers over in Greece, I think, already this season. So he's a bit of a madman, that Marinakis. Let's finish up with some score predictions then. Super Sunday, obviously, Leeds Palace, and then it's Liverpool Arsenal. I'm going to say 2-1 Leeds, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in the Arsenal-Liverpool game, because I do think Salah will score. Locks, I'll come to you.
1-0 Leeds and 2-1 Arsenal.
There you go on, Potsy.
2-0 Leeds, 2-1 Arsenal.
Nice. Love it. Right, folks, listen. Lox's Twitter and Potts' channel, the 12th Man Pod. The link is in the description now. So if you go on down, please do check that out. There's 654 people watching, so that's amazing. Potts, you're not too far away from 8K as well, right? How many?
Yeah, I'm literally like 90 away, man. So come on, people. Come and support.
Yeah,
You'll see Joe on there loads, man. Yeah. Literally, it's just a click of a button. Come on, people. Yeah. 8K will be amazing.
That's what I mean. And there's 648 years now, right? So we could make that happen now for Potsy. So that'd be a great, Saturday evening. People. So please go over and subscribe to that channel. It's a great channel and has, it's nice to see channels focusing on other teams outside of the top 6. So that's all I'll say for that, because it's good, man. It's good. And we'll leave it there. Thanks as always for watching, folks. I'll be back tomorrow, of course, from 1 o'clock for Leeds versus Palace. So I will see you.